Hi guys! So here's a short little video that I wanted to make on the topic of Harfoots and apple seeds / apple orchards, a detail that Amazon decided to include in their costume design. So here's the gist basically.
The Harfoot costumes, they have these apple seeds, and the apple seeds represent all of those Harfoots who have died before, who have passed away in previous migrations.
And we bury our dead in an apple orchard that we hold very sacred. So you'll see the elderly having many, many apple seeds because they've seen all those people fall.
All over their costumes, which just prove the amount of life that they have lived and how many souls that they have known. Every single Harfoot has some people have them on bracelets, some people have them hidden in pockets.
Alright, so there's a couple of things that I wanted to comment on. Adding details. It's good in theory, the idea is perfectly fine, but it's not the only box to tick and call it a day. I mean, after all, they added some details on Galadriel's armor too, but apparently it's far too complicated even for the showrunners to explain what exactly her crest means.
What is the crest? Can you tell us what the crest is on her armor?
We would need Kate Hawley here, who has done a wonderfully deep dive with every single filigree.
So back to the Harfoots. The main issue is that everything in the Appleseed / orchard story is fabricated by Amazon. The details themselves, the story behind them, none of it is part of Tolkien's legendarium. Yes, apples were quite significant for hobbits and their diet, so you could say it makes sense that Amazon chose this fruit for their Harfoots. But like with so many things in the Rings of Power, Amazon seems to just take a keyword from Tolkien and appropriate it for themselves, disregarding, or not having the rights to use, what Tolkien actually wrote. Not showcasing that, but rather building something new from it and just saying, oh, that's cool, let's add that in, but we'll do whatever we want with it. And here is where things start to come apart at the seams a little bit. First of all, Amazon is making Harfoots into a nomadic tribe in the Rings of Power.
So they don't have a home base like the hobbits did in later years. The Harfoots are migratory, they're nomads.
So Harfoots are a nomadic community. They travel through the seasons.
This is not what hobbits were in Tolkien's books, even though there were the Wandering Days. In the Third Age though, not the Second. This show is going to confuse people so much for so many reasons. But even though the hobbits in the Third Age migrated to the area that basically became the Shire, that doesn't make them nomadic. It was a migration, a total change of habitat, not a lifestyle. But fair enough, let's entertain Amazon for a second and say, okay, you made your Harfoots, not Tolkien's Harfoots, into a nomadic tribe. And do you see where I'm going with this in relationship to what the actors are saying about apple orchards? Yeah, so how does a nomadic tribe have an orchard if they supposedly move around all the time? To different areas, to different places? If they have no constant dwellings, surely they don't tend to an orchard. I suppose there could be a place they come back to periodically, but an orchard kind of clashes with the concept of being a nomadic people. Nomadic tribes were not farmers, logically, since they don't stay in one place for too long. They didn't have crops or orchards. Nomads were hunter-gatherers. They would have maybe livestock and so on. So Tolkien's Harfoots versus Amazon's Harfoots should be strictly separated, but as a quick aside, if you create a nomadic tribe that travels around in carts, it might be logical to give them animals so that they could pull the carts, not, the Harfoots themselves. But back to the apples. To have a sacred apple orchard, you'll need to spend some time in one area to first grow the apple trees and then regularly take care of your orchard, harvest the fruits every year and so on. And also the thing with burying their dead at the sacred apple orchard, does that mean they go back to that one apple orchard every single time when someone dies to bury them there? And what happens to the orchard when the Harfoot tribe inevitably moves to a new location? Is there some sacred orchard wherever they originated from, and this is all just a vague reference to that place? As you can see, this concept is kind of full of contradictions. Secondly, taking the Hobbit's love for apples from Tolkien and transforming it into something else that's just for that vague reference maybe makes less sense than it would if you were to just leave it out. Apple seeds, of all the possibilities, seem like the weirdest choice to include as a detail in an outfit. They're so tiny, you can't really put them onto a necklace or a bracelet. I mean, you can try, but you'll be losing your mind trying to tie them onto a string or something. In that case, a stone fruit at least would make some more sense. It would at least make a pendant if you tied it onto a string. And sewing apple seeds on clothes seems pretty bizarre too. They really are an odd design choice. Kind of like that gold dandruff on Disa's head and the gold dust on her endurance fingers. Symbolism with the depth of a puddle. So to wrap it up, if you are going to add some details, don't come up with them just for the sake of it, because it will likely not make much sense. Make design details that are true to the lore, or at least some kind of a nod to the lore in a sense that, well, works with the story. And remember, always...
Go back to the book, go back to the book, go back to the book.
Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon.